So the bank says this is the amount and this is the card number, please deduct it. So bank, it is going to deduct the amount, okay, and return back the transaction ID to the GoIbibo people. And GoIbibo people will issue a ticket and say this is a ticket ID or transaction ID and something else. So bank is the one who is providing the service rate, taking the input, processing the data and giving the response. So who process the data and give the response, they are called as providers. Who are sending the request are called as the consumers. Okay. So in Pega, these service providers will have a rule called as service rule and these consumers will have a rule called as connector rule. So connector is a rule in Pega which hits the service rule of the other party. And to connector we have to send the request XML. Service will receive the request XML, process the data and give you the output. So this is how the process is. So the user will enter the bank details on the UI screen. From the UI, you will call the connector rule with the request XML. Then from here, it will call the service rule, passing the request. Service rule will have an activity because I'm talking about Pega, I'm telling in terms of Pega activity. If it's not Pega, if it is Java, they might have a method, they might have a function. Okay? Service rule will call its own activity or method or function to process the data. So once this processing is completed, they'll give you back a response, back to the connector response, and then you can display it on your UI. This is how integrations work. Okay. Take a minute. Please try to understand. Let me know if there is anything missing or if you're not clear about anything. Yeah. Somebody has a question, what we need to mention in the XML. This XML is nothing but a SOAP envelope. We call it a SOAP envelope. It is nothing but a request XML. So it contains, like whenever the person hosts a service, they will tell you, just think it like a method. Whenever you create a method, you expect some input parameters, right? Similarly, whenever a person creates a service, they will tell you, my consuming systems have to send me these parameters. And this is the XML structure in which I expect the data to be sent. So they will share that XML structure to us. That XML structure is nothing but WSDL, Web Service Definition Language. The service people will share us the WSDL file. This WSDL file defines what is the input, what is the output, and what is the structure of XML. So in the same structure, you have to configure your request and push it to the service. Okay, clear guys? So now this is how it has to work. So now you people are going to start working from here. First you have to host a service. Okay, you have to define, hey, this is my visual or this is my request XML. I expect this input, I give them this output. You have to define your request and response, then have an activity, okay, and assuming that you get this as inputs, process the data and give the response. So if you complete this part, then we can take this wisdom and start generating the connector. So we are going to work from here to here now. Okay. So everybody please move on to your application. Now coming to the service part, just forget that you are GoIbibo application wala. You just think that you are a bank. Just assume you're a Citibank now. You don't know anything about GoIbibo. You don't know what is Pega Workpage. You don't know what is B_available pages. You know nothing about GoIbibo. Okay? So you are just an external system. You always have 3 components per service. Every service has a service package, service rule. Just a second, guys. Okay. Service package, service rule, and your activity. So what is service package? It's just a collection of services. Okay. So all the common configurations of a couple of some services will be specified in a service package. Let's say all my services from Citibank expects this operator ID and password from the other party. Because if somebody has a whistle, everybody can connect to me, right? So we give some user IDs and passwords telling that you guys should connect by passing this user ID and password. Or we also say that this person should have this access group. I mean, like the people who connect to me will have this access group. Then you say this is the number of requests I can handle at a time. Pooling. So all that high-level configurations are specified in the service package. And it's a common package for multiple services. Then service rule, this is the actual rule which will take the request, process it and give the response. Activity, the activity which will process the data. Okay? So every service component has three things. Now, you can either generate each one of them individually or we do have a wizard to do that. So I prefer going it with a wizard. So go to Integration Services Service Wizard. So if you execute this wizard, all the components will be generated. Your service package, your service rule, your activity, and all the configurations in it would also be done. Except activities logic. You have to write down your business logic for that. Okay, but the rest of the configurations in the package and services will be completed. Your wizard has like three options as service purpose. Do you want to create a work object? Yeah, then you have to just create and manage work. Do you want to call in existing activity? So you already have an activity, now you just want to host as a service. Process input and output, from the scratch you want to define everything. So I prefer process input and output so that from the scratch you can build your service. And what type of service? SOAP, REST, JMS, MQs, files. Ours is SOAP. Okay. Simple Object Access Protocol. It's nothing but a protocol to send and receive messages. Okay. And the SOAP is like much secure when compared to HTTP. So we go with SOAP most of the time. Most of the times in real time, we have SOAP and also REST. REST is mainly used when you are building mobile applications because REST is a lightweight. So there, like, the screen loading takes much less time than compared to SOAP, so people prefer REST in that case. Go ahead and say next. You need to, okay, I guess I have answered. Yeah. So what is a data class? Data classes don't think that data has classes. Now you are not Pega, you are Citibank. Citibank doesn't know what is work class, what is data class, what is in class. So data class is a class which holds the properties which can store your request and store your response. So you can take your work class. It has properties to store your request and response, means credit card number, CVV, expiry, all these things you have in the work class, right? So you can take your work class. Okay? Before you take your work class, hold on a second. See, we have to define what are the request properties and what are the response properties. So for my service, the request is, I expect card number, I expect CVV, and I expect the amount to be deducted. 3 inputs. And my output is transaction ID. So for card number, CVV, and amount, I already have properties. And for my output transaction ID, I don't have a property till date. Let me create a property first. Then I'll go and configure the stuff. Okay? So simply create a property like this. Say trans ID. Okay, you can even close it here. It's a text. Create and close. Please do it quickly. I'll hold on the screen till you complete. Okay. Hope you're done with creation of your property. Let me know if you want me to wait. Now please come back to your class, the webinar, and start giving your work class name here. Take implementation class, not framework. No FWs, please. Okay. So this is the name of your service role that is getting created. Now if you want, you can change it. Otherwise, you can retain it. So I'm just retaining it. Now just say next. And this is the place where you map, hey, this is my request and this is my response. So you say this is the XML mapping for request. If you scroll down, this is XML mapping for output. Okay. So use your checkbox, use XML for data mapping. If you use this, Pega will get request in the form of XML. You need to parse it and you need to process it. Similarly, whenever you send the output, you have to form an XML and send it. So parse rules and string rules will come into the picture if you use these checkboxes. I prefer you to check them so that you will also get hands-on of parsing and streaming. Okay? So please check this, use XML for data mapping in both the layouts. Please do it. I'll just be on hold. Okay. Now, so what are the inputs? I want card number, I want the amount to be deducted, and I want the CVV. Three things. Inputs. Now scroll down. Make sure you're in output properties. Okay. Then you select trans ID. Please do it. Do not select trans ID in input properties. Please make sure you have scrolled down to the output properties section. Okay. Now just say next. And this is the place where your service package gets created. So if you observe till now, whatever you have done is about the service rule. You have three components here: service rule, service package, and activity. Service rule configuration is done. Here starts a service package. So it's asking, do you want to create a new package or use an existing one or copy an existing one? You're going to create a new package. Just say next. This is the package name. Maybe you can cut short it. It's so lengthy. Go over etiquette. Okay. And what is your processing mode? Stateless and stateful. Stateless means the cookies by the browser will not be maintained. Stateful means browser cookies are maintained. Access group. So, see, whenever you make a service request, actually it's not a requester, right? It's not an operator. But still that request will have a requester session. So when there is a requester session, you should always have access group, which tells what applications, what rule sets, what level of access that particular requester has. So as service is not an operator and still they have a requester session, we need to define a generic access group for all the services. So for all the services, we are giving this access group. So whenever they make a request, they have this level of access. Okay? Security request authentication means you need to pass a user ID and password. For now, I'm just removing this. Show HTML suppress means by chance if there's anywhere HTML screens in your activity or anywhere, they'll suppress because it's a service, backend activity. Okay, they'll suppress. Pooling, as I told you, how many requests at a time I can process, how many can wait in my queue, how many can be idle. That's how it is. Pooling. Okay? Means based on your server strength, you do this. Maybe my server can handle 1,000 requests, I put 1,000. Okay? So based on the server strength and available space, we do this configuration. Just for next. That's it. Finish. And before you finish, you can see that these are the rules that are going to get created. To expand these things, you can see like Pega is going to create all those rules for you. Service package, activity, pass rules and stream rules, service package, okay, and all these things. Anyways, better click on finish, you can see all those things. Now, so see various rules that have got created. You have a service rule, you have an activity, you have a pass rule, you have a package, and this is your endpoint URL. Click on the URL. This is your WSDL file. So it tells you what's your package name, what's your service name. My service name is process request type. What's your URL in which the service is hosted, amount, card number, CVV are my input properties, trans ID is my output property, data type of each of these properties. Okay, everything is there in the WSDL file. Okay, please copy paste this URL because we are going to use it later. Save it to get companies. Okay. Now open your service rule first. So this one, service rule. So in the service rule, what information is present? Service rule will contain a class name in which the request and the response properties are there. It will contain a page name because whenever you get a request, the request will get stored on this page because you don't have PY work page now. You don't know what is PY work page or Citibank. Okay. So the page will have, this page will hold your request and your response. Then you have activity. And, then you have an activity, okay, which will process your request and give you the response. And these were the most important tabs. Request tab defines your request XML structure. See here you have parse rule. So open this parse rule. At a high level, request tab contains the details about your request. Okay. So this is my parent tag. This is my child tag amount. The data and amount tag is being copied to a property dot amount. Data and card number tag is being copied to a property dot card number. Okay. You can double click and see. Node name is amount, means that XML tag name is amount. Okay, just come here. Sorry. Where's the property? Here. Properties dot amount. Okay. Like that. Tag name is card number, properties dot card number. That's why you're passing the data and you're putting it onto a clipboard page. What is the page? This one. So on my service page, you will put all these three properties, input properties. Okay. Then coming to the response tab, you only have one single property, trans ID. Okay. So this is about your service rule. It basically contains a service page and an activity. You can process the request and give you the response. Then You have activity, which is completely empty. You have to write down all your steps. Then you have the parcel that you have just seen. Then you have the service package. Okay. So you can see all the configurations that you made, like stateless, stateful, and what are the services present in this package. Currently, there is only one service, process data. And at any point of time, if you forgot your WSDL URL, you can come and see here. Okay. This is the WSDL URL of this service. And the pooling and all, whatever you have defined, everything is in this package rule. Okay. So these are the rules that your wizard has created. Now, start with your service. So you being a Citibank, you are going to host a service, okay, which is going to be consumed with Go, Make My Trip, Flipkart, whatnot, everybody will be using it. Okay. So I have an activity. What I need to do, this activity needs to take the request that I got, which is nothing but card number, CVV and amount, deduct it from the database, okay, return back the transaction ID. So, you already have an activity. Who can do this work for you, right? You already created an activity. Process payment, right? So, why do you want to do the same work again? Why can't you simply plug in that activity here? That's it. So please change your activity name to process payment. Okay. Now, save your service rule. Now, open your activity. So what is the expected behavior of this activity? Taking the inputs. Okay. Okay. It is taking the inputs and opening the particular bank details. Very good. What is the next thing? It will deduct the amount. We have written that logic in this data transform. Deducting the amount. What is the next thing? Committing it back to the database after deducting. Okay. It is doing this. What next? Generating the transaction ID. That is not there here. If you write with one single step, your activity is completed. So you're processing the input, very good, but where is my output? So that one single step is missing in your activity. Okay? So after step 3, add a new step. Okay? Let me complete it, then you guys can do. So I want to generate a sequential number as transaction ID. Okay? So how do you generate a sequential number? Pega has a default inbuilt activity called as generate ID. This is the activity that is used by Pega to generate your work object IDs also. So today you see MMT-1, MMT-2 means it's because this activity is generating a sequential number. So I will call this activity to generate a sequential number for my transactions. So call space generate capital IND. So call is a method which is used to call another activity. So if you remember, we discussed about call and branch. Okay. Now, this activity expects some parameters. Let me hold a second. Okay, I give spelling mistake. So this activity is expecting 2 inputs. What is the prefix of your ID? So just like your work objects have MMT-1, MMT-2. So what is your prefix? Mine is transactional, so it's a TR and hyphen. Okay? I gave in quotations. You can also have a suffix if you want, but I'm giving only prefix. Okay. So you should also give a page. If you don't give a page, on which page your generate ID will come in or come. So please give a page. Tell that, hey, generate my ID on this page. Take a minute. Please complete this configuration. Acha. Okay, don't give this page then. Because this page belongs to some data class. But generate ID is in work class. Generate ID is in work class. Work that's covered as. That's purely work, no data classes. So if you give step page as data class, Pega is saying I can't find this activity in any of the data classes. So better don't give any step, don't give this as step page. Just create a new page called as some temp or something. Okay, why do I need a page? Yeah, I need it now. Okay, Control C. Let me define my page in pages and classes to a ticket class. Okay. Now please take a minute and complete this. I added step 2. I added step 5. I added a row in pages and classes. Okay. Start with pages and classes. Step 2 and step 5. Okay. Hope you're done with your changes. So let me know if you want me to wait. Okay. I'm going ahead. So this is all done. We are very good. Oh my god, there's something on a CY work page. No CY work pages. We don't know what is CY work page. We are Citibank. Okay. So if you want, we'll put that as on bank details page. Okay. So now just see you have some preconditions and transitions here. There's a transition. If OBJ save is successful, exit activity. So then it will never come to generate ID. Then when will generate ID get generated? So if OBJ save is successful, continue to the next step. If it is not successful, jump to the, you have some error step, right? ERR, okay, all capital. Okay. See, why am I doing this? If OBJ save is successful, I should generate transaction ID. If OBJ save is not successful, why should I generate transaction ID? I should not, right? The transaction didn't happen. So I said, if step status is good, continue and generate transaction ID. If false, jump to error. Please make this change in step 4. OBJ save transition. We'll start going through various Pega blogs. Just Google it. Start going to the blogs available in the net. Okay. You'll find more information on something, interview questions and all these things. It's for your personal growth in this particular topic or this particular things. So start browsing multiple blogs and start studying about them. Okay. Now you have property set messages. So generate ID. After generating the ID, it will again go to property set messages. Means setting error message. Do you want this to happen? The transaction is successful, so you're generating an ID. Then you should exit from here. You should not go to the next step. So I'll put a jump here and I'll say when true. Means when this step got executed successfully, if true, exit activity, false, exit activity. True is always true, right? True, what happens here? It will check whether this condition is written true or false. True will always return true only. So if true or if false means exit activity. Okay? Because that if you are generating an ID, it means the transaction went successfully. So I don't want to check anything. I just simply want to exit out of the activity. Simply write this logic. Give a submit. That's it. Okay. So your service activity is completed. Now what next? Anyways, the rest of things are already configured. Like you have an activity which will take the request, pass it, response will form the transaction ID, right? There's one more challenge here. Let's execute it, then I'll teach you. Okay. Let's test the service. So your service configuration is completed. Let's test it by passing the input XML. So go to your service rule and say actions run. This one, service soap. Okay, not activity. Service soap run. So you can either put a single variable if it's a single input. If it's an XML, you have to switch to this. Supply soap request envelope. Switch to this. Okay. Here you have the XML template. Just pass your data here. How much amount you want to deduct? Maybe I want to deduct 100 rupees. My card number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two valid data, guys. Valid data which is there in your database. CVV minus 1, 2, 3. If you don't remember, please go to Data Explorer, open your bank details table, under Records tab, see your data, come back and put the data here. Okay. Now, please look at my execution. I'll turn on my tracer. Okay. Because I want to see if something goes wrong. Then I'll go and say execute. Oh, there's some failure. Card number is not valid. Okay. So I gave some wrong card number. What am I using here? Is it card number or account number? Card number only. Let me see my data then. One, two, three, four, five. 1, 2, 3. What did I give here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Everything is good. What's wrong? See, in such cases, this tracer will help us. Okay? So if you see, activity begin. Activity name is process payment. Step 1. Condition is false. Okay, okay. You see the condition? We are checking payWorkpage.card number is not equal to null. Now, it's an old activity, right? That time it was payWorkpage. Now you don't know what is payWorkpage. You are a service. So, now you should replace your payWorkpage with this page. Because your request will come on this page. So, put in your activity, open your precondition and please check myservicepage.card number, myservicepage.card number length. Okay? Wherever there is my payWorkpage, replace it with myservicepage. Please do this quickly. If you are done, okay. Please submit, save your changes. Okay. So whenever you get this @base class at some property, it means that you did not map your class in page in pages and classes. You did not map your page in pages and classes, right? So it will throw this kind of errors. So my service page belongs to which class? A-ticket class. Define this in save. It will say. Please define this. Done. Now let's go back. Clear the tracer. Okay. Then go to my soap rule. Execute again. Now let's see what will happen. Looks like, oh no, something failed again. Step 1 failed. Video failed. Why? Okay, got it. I guess again you use here also payWorkpage. This is the problem. payWorkpage is not there, right? And you're trying to use it. payWorkpage card number is null, and you're trying to do OBJ open on null. It failed. Please replace this as my service page. We don't know what is payWorkpage because we are Citibank now. We are not GoIBO. Okay. We being the service, we get all the requests and response on my service page. So your complete thing is on my service page only. Okay. Now clear your tracer. Now give a trial run again. Okay. Looks like everything went fine. So on the top is my service page, right? This is like activity ended. So let me see on my service page, is my request, is my response there? Okay, my request is card number, CVV, amount. Very good. Where is my response? That is not there. Transaction ID is not there. So I generated transaction ID on a page called as temp. So let me see on temp. Yes, transaction ID is there. But it is in a property called as PYID. Right? So two things here. Request and response both should lie on same page called as my service page. But my response is on temp page. So I have to copy the data from temp to my service page, or the best way is, instead of temp, why don't you give my service page? Serves the purpose. Instead of temp, give my service page, the value will come out to my service page. Okay? So that is one thing. So very good. Then I can remove my page new. Okay? So this is the final activity. There is one more thing that I tell you. So first thing is, please change your step page to my service page. Even after changing the step page to my service page, still the data comes onto Pega's default property called as PYID, but I expect my output to be in a default, into our property called as trans ID, right? Because Pega is expecting it request in this particular properties and response in this particular properties. But here the property is PYID. So what you should do? You should either do a property set, copy the data from PYID to trans ID. Or the other best way is give PYID here. Automatically it will take the value. Okay? I think that I'll just give PYID here. It's a Pega's default one. If you go to more, you will find it. Okay? That's it. Let me test, then you can make your changes. Okay. Now, again I'll run my service rule. Now see on my service page, everything should be there. Request, response, transaction, everything. All are there. Perfect. Let me see my output XML also. Is my output XML? Here. See my response envelope. So you have all the soap tags. Then you have the body. Here is your trans ID in the response. Okay. So this is the one that goes to the other party. This whole response XML will be given to the other party. Okay. So please make your changes in the activity, guys. Make sure you're using my service page for the step page for generate ID. Make this change, test it. Let me know if you're coming across any challenges. Okay. Hope you guys are able to get your response as transaction ID. Okay. So that completes the service exposing part. Okay. Tomorrow in the next class we are going to deal with the service consumption part. Means you are going to act as the connector or the consumer. Okay. So that's it for today, guys. See you tomorrow. Thank you so much. Have a nice rest of your day.